hybrid vehicles which runs in more than 2 fuels, and electric hybrid vehicles, which Toyota Prius is an electric hybrid, which is commonly available right now. Now, why now? Why is electric car revolution now? Let me tell you something shocking. Electric car was developed in the year 1828. It's almost 200 years from today. So, why did it take this long for electric vehicle revolution to start? Why now? Let's look into the history of electric vehicles and what affected their development and what are the changes which happened. The first commercially viable electric vehicle was developed in 1832 by a Scottish guy. It was using a non-rechargeable battery. Then lithium-ion battery came, which is rechargeable, and then it became famous. And the most commonly used at that time was in New York for taxi services. That was the largest number of electric vehicles on roads at that time. The reason for this was a funny thing. During those times, even though gasoline vehicles were there, taxis were horse carts. So horse carts were widely used in New York City. And the government of New York realized that horse manure and urine is polluting the roads and the livelihood of people. So this was the alternative which the government came up with. So electric vehicles was used as taxi in New York, and that was in the year 1897. Then fast forwarding, in 1907, electric vehicles, the fame came down because gasoline became cheaper, gasoline vehicles became cheaper, and gasoline means petrol. So many people started preferring gasoline vehicles to electric vehicles. Then again, due to crude oil price rise and everything, gasoline prices shoot up. In 1970s, people started preferring again electric vehicles. So that is the time when the most commercially viable electric vehicle was released by German Motors, the General Motors. Right. In 1996, the first car was released. Now, after all these things, this was not the reason for the revolution. Still, electric cars was not viable enough because battery was costly. The distance which an electric vehicle can travel was very less. Issues with recharging. So all those were the hurdles which electric vehicle had to face. So in the year 2002, Tesla, the revolutionary in electric vehicles, they founded in 2002 in US, and they released their first vehicle in 2006. It was called the Tesla Roadster. That was a game changer. Tesla Roadster was at that time one of the fastest vehicles on road, even when we are comparing with the petrol vehicles, sports cars. And to everyone's surprise, it was an electric vehicle. So the prejudice of people who had thought that electric vehicles won't go fast enough was broken. The mileage of vehicles in a single charge, it could travel up to 200 to 300 miles. So that started the revolution. And then again, Tesla started developing huge factories for building battery, so that the battery cost will come down. Because in an electric vehicle, battery is the most costliest part. So now, in an electric vehicle, what are the challenges which we used to think were there? One, recharge points. Recharge points were the main issue of the electric vehicles. So, in the current maybe like today, if you go to Yas Mall in Abu Dhabi, you can see recharge points out there, and it is for free for anyone to use. So, the fuel became free for you for an electric vehicle. So, this hurdle is being overcome. Next, electricity wasn't free earlier. So now, as I told you, this charging in these chargers are free. So this second hurdle also was overcame. Third was the short distance driving range and the speed. Then, as I told you, the latest vehicle which was developed by Tesla has a range of 300 miles. That is approximately more than 500 kilometers. And the fastest is 100 kilometers in 1.9 seconds. That is the fastest vehicle ever on road. Then longer charging time, that also was changed. Tesla's new superchargers, they can charge a vehicle in an hour. In 1 hour, it will fully charge a vehicle and you will get 300 miles charge. Silence as a disadvantage. This is still a disadvantage because in a road, if there is a pedestrian or a cyclist, he will not be able to hear a vehicle coming from behind. Because as of now, you can hear the engine sound for every vehicle if it is coming from behind. But electric vehicles are very silent. So that's an issue. Battery replacement, now battery has a life of 10 years and more. So only it is not suitable for every cities where shortage of power is there, but it is suitable for any other cities right now. So now my next car is going to be an electric vehicle. What about yours? Thank you.
That was great speech by Toastmaster Deepak Joseph. Timer, could you please tell us the time taken by Toastmaster Deepak Joseph?
Good evening once again.
Good evening.
Deepak Joseph take 7 minutes 43 seconds. Not eligible for voting. Thank you.
Okay, just for the benefit again of guests, I think there will be no vote because we have only one speaker. So, no
But
vote.
is he qualified? No, it's not. He's not qualified.
He's not qualified.
Qualified also. Yeah.
We have exceeded the time.
Since there is no voting, he tried to do that.
And I was about to buy an electric car.
You might as well tell you what it was interesting.
Yeah. And by the way, since you mentioned Yasmall, last week I was in Yasmall and I got a problem in my car. I don't want to mention that in front of PO. So I had to call the recovery. They were not permitted to go to the parking in Yasmall. So we have a serious issue there.
Take care, electric car.
Take care, Mr. PO.
Electric car will not.
My car is not Nissan, it's something else. Okay, let's go to the evaluation part. Toastmaster Deepak will be evaluated by Toastmaster Rashish Palikari. Let's welcome President Toastmaster Rashish.
Toastmaster, good evening, fellow members. Once again, good evening.
Good evening.
I like cars. That's why I love this speech. And Toastmaster Deepak sedulously prepared this speech. And technical part of it, like eye contact, stage usage, and I don't want to go in detail because you have covered everything. And about the speech, everybody was thinking that whether we can change the car or not for the electric cars. So many people had a doubt whether it is a viable or feasible electric car on the road. So many people's doubts is very effectively cleared, even mine. There was, in the ninth speech, you have to persuade the speaker. Ninth project. So in the fourth project, you persuaded the speaker to change the car to electric. Give a big round of applause for that. Started thinking that, okay, we can change to electric car. It is not that difficult. Otherwise, everybody used to think changing the electric car is one is expensive, another is the running is very limited, like after 100 kilometers you might charge or you may not get a charging point. These things are all very clearly clarified. And another important thing is the environment that I think you're loving subject, but you did not cover in this. That you missed in that one. And one of the things is I read about this thing, sound. They're going to create a sound with the motor just to create a sound so that it will, vehicle is running on the road. That also you can overcome. So no need to worry about buying the electric car. And about the speech, this thing, the topic for the fourth project, you have to use how to say it. So you selected the appropriate topic so that you can use all the speech objective where you have to use the simple words, simple sentences, which audience can easily understand. I think most of the audience easily understood what is the message and how we explained was very clearly done. One thing I want to tell, the presentation. Actually, we have a project 8 where we have to get comfortable with your visual aids. Till then, I think it is to restrict presentation because other speech objective will not be met if you are doing the presentation because audience will be concentrating on the presentation rather than your speeches. So for other members, I am suggesting that only in project number 8 you use the presentation. Till then, you read your objectives and present them. But of course, your speech was good. You may have met all the objectives, even you presented. But for other members, I am suggesting that is only a suggestion. So you can use the presentation in the project number 8. Otherwise, the speech was fantastic, and it was my loving subject. Hats off to Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajesh. Okay. Timer, could you please tell us the time taken by Toastmaster Rajesh?
Good evening once again. The evaluation speech allotted time 2 to 3 minutes. Rajesh Pandit he take 3 minutes 12 seconds. He is eligible for voting. Thank you.
Ballot for vote are given to everybody, I believe, correct?
Yes.
For table topic, we have to vote, sorry. Okay. Okay. Before we continue to the table topic, let's touch a bit on our subject of VAT, just some additional information. Okay. So the difference between sales tax and different tax that you know about it. Why is UAE implementing VAT? So government offers many public services to residents such as hospital, road, public schools, parks, waste control, police services, etc. So VAT will provide an additional source of income to the government to provide high quality public services. Will VAT cover all products and services? I think there will be some exemptions, and this is available in all the press, especially College Times. I've seen it in a couple of times. Will the cost of living increase? Unfortunately, the answer is yes, because, well, this is totally dependent on your lifestyle of spending, but since we are all living in this part of the world, we used to spend a lot, so definitely our cost of living will increase. Will tourists also pay VAT? Yes, of course. That's one of the main income of UAE, so everybody will pay VAT. But to be smart, we have to control our expenditure in the coming years after 1st of January. And one of the recommendations I have, don't take, this is my personal experience, especially our weekly shopping, don't take wife with you, so you will take only the necessary items.
I'm sending my wife back home.
That's the best solution. Okay, now is the time
So she
for...
doesn't like your girlfriend?
So now is time for the interesting part of our meeting. As always, table topic. Table topic for this evening will be shared by Toastmaster Nofal. Please put your hand together to welcome Toastmaster.
And the time was?
Yeah.
Okay, so just explain.
Good evening once again.
Good evening.
Table topic allotted time 1 to 2 minutes. minimum 1 minute, maximum 2 minutes 30 seconds. 1 minute green light will be shown, and 1 minute 30 second yellow light. 2 minutes red light until the speaker is finished. Thank you.
Okay, before we start, please, this is a good chance for guests to be here. It's very important to be here for the first time. Please feel free. This is a chance. We are always having the problem to have the first time, so please feel free to be here. Thank you. Over to you.
Good evening, all of you, once again.
Good evening.
First of all, I am saying this is my lucky because actually I was planning to do the session in last 2 meetings. Unfortunately, it was not happened. So just I am thinking this is the luckiest moment for me. So especially why I am saying that this is my first attempt for as a table talk master in the Toastmastering. So I wish to say to all members to make this session as a wonderful with your all support. Okay, so let's have this session. So I would like to invite our senior Toastmaster, Mr. P.R. Reddy, please come forward. I will give you the subject.
Before we explain
Yeah, we can just explain how the process is.
Yeah, the explanation.
Yeah.
Sorry for that. That table topic is like the subject. When I will give to that contestant, he can read that. I will explain to him, and he can take the time 30 seconds to think about that. After the 30 seconds, he can start. The timing is that, as he mentioned, the timing 2 minutes is the maximum, and the 30 seconds is the extra time he can use. That is the rule.
minimum 1 minute.
Minimum 1 minute to maximum is the 2 minutes. And 30 seconds is the grace period.
I can pick.
Yeah, of course you can pick. This is for you, sir.
So good way of picking it. Alright, I'll read it out.
Yeah,
Better you.
I will read that.
Yeah, okay.
No, I have that. Describe a stressful situation at work and how do you handle it? Describe a stressful situation at work and how do you handle it?
Toastmasters of the evening, table topic master, distinguished guests, and fellow members. Good evening.
Good evening.
Work. For me, I believe it as a teamwork. And unfortunately, when you lead a group of members in a team, you expect that everyone will share your shoulders, your problems with equal amount of efforts, and it will bring a good result. But where I feel the most problematic area, the difficulty in my work environment is, what makes me disappointed is the silly mistakes that happens from your subordinates. I think once Toastmaster John Thomas has expressed it about this kind of issues. You expect that he or her would deliver it in a better manner and you leave it to them. But the next day when you look at the result, just slipped because of the carelessness. And you pay for it. So this is what I feel in my work or in my office, the hectic or the difficult part that I am facing in day-to-day life. Why? Because you take the sad part of it from your boss. And when it becomes good, they take the result. So I am so much concerned about this kind of issues, and that makes me so much of disappointment in my life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Next, I would like to welcome Mr. Toastmaster John Thomas. Yes, I will read that one. Explain about your journey of Toastmastering since you enrolled.
Toastmaster, good evening. Table Topics Master, fellow members, warm good evening.
Good evening.
I always wanted to stand in front of few people and express myself. But I never got or never picked up any such opportunity. But in 2012, I went for a trip along with a group of people. And every day evening, there was a gathering. And people used to express or explain whatever they have experienced today. And I was, I think, one of the most educated, well-qualified people around that group. I was the only one who was failing to do that. And that was the trigger point for me to join Toastmaster. Immediately I contacted somebody who was a member of Toastmaster. It was Toastmaster Uttaman, who was my colleague. And I enrolled myself into Toastmastering. I heard about Toastmastering earlier, but never felt it as a good platform to improve myself. But this I picked it up as a challenge. It was way back in 2012. So from 2012 till today, I have attended so many meetings. Initially it was really hard. Struggled in the first initial projects to complete the scheduled time, failed so many times, but I managed to come out in flying colors. I become winner in couple of club contests. I represented Mussafah club in areas, and last year I represented area in the division. I started very late, after 50% of getting grey hairs, but still I managed to reach this point. So this is the right opportunity, this is the right platform, whoever wants to be a good speaker. Over to you.
That's a good message to us. Very good. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And those who are interested from the guest, anyone can come forward? Or let me invite. I think you can come forward.
Just try, give it a try.
Just try. Just give it a try.
Even if you're not able to talk about topic, just think about talking about it.
It's nothing very easy. And his name is so tiny.
Yeah.
Vishnu.
May I know your name?
My name is Vishnu.
Vishnu. His subject is, if you get a magic wand, what you will do? Simple subject. You can. If you get a magic wand, what will you do? What you will do?
We were talking about it.
Magic wand.
Like if I get a magic wand, then that means like I can wish for something. Like I want this or I want that. So basically, I love to perform. That is during my school days and college days and all, I was into acting and all. So the first thing which comes to my mind is that I want to be an actor. So if I get a magic wand, then that will be. I will wish that I would act in some movies and to be a main actor or something. So that is the shot which comes to mind.
Okay, that's a nice item. Very good. Any guest? Yeah. I'll read that one. What childish thing do you still enjoy? What childish thing do you still enjoy?
Name.
Sobin.
Subin.
Sobin.
Development Master, Toastmaster Kudev, and fellow Toastmasters and guests. Good evening.
Good evening.
What childish thing do you still enjoy? Yeah, cartoons. This is what I enjoy. Starting with Tom and Jerry, where from the year 4 onwards, I still remember the first cartoon which I saw. It was like repeating using the video player, VCRs at that time. I was watching it on daily basis with my brother, and we even had a short name for the cartoon, Car. This is for we both to understand, so that parents will not understand to see the cartoon. Okay. And this is another one is Bugs Bunny. This is the other cartoon which we used to see. And there are many other cartoons which we used to see. And sometimes I still put my son to enjoy the cartoons. And sometimes he'll say, no, you don't laugh, you don't laugh. You go. You tell me, you don't laugh, you won't sit there. Still, I enjoy the cartoon. That's the thing which I still enjoy watching.
Very good performance. Okay, the next. Any guest? I think you can participate. Last one. It's okay, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Say something about your college days.
Name please.
Krishna. Table topic master, Toastmaster of the evening, president, and fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Good evening.
Good evening.
School days and college days are very rememberable. So nobody can forget these days. So me too. So my college days, I was studying in my native place, Chennai. So it was very interesting, those days. Very memorable too. That time, first time we were in color uniform, because earlier in school days we were used to have uniform, and this first time with color dress, I enjoyed it. And there were enough playtime was there, not like school days, till 5 o'clock you have to be in school, there is not much restrictions. In fact, there will be lab periods in the afternoon sessions, we will complete it very well in advance, and after 3 o'clock we will be playing table tennis and outdoor games like that, football, cricket like that. So it was, from school days it was very restrictive environment, and then in college we had very nice time, and also I was good in studies also, so on that way also it's good, fine. In 5th semester I got college first also, so that also one of the good memories in my college days. So what do you
Very good, I can close that. I think Steve, we have the time. So I would like to welcome Toastmaster. The subject is how you will perform in an interview and how to impress the interview panel.
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
And dear guests. How to perform in an interview is a challenge for every job seeker. The first thing, you should think that you should be there in time, not late like what I did today. Second thing, you should be aptly dressed.
So I will dress aptly, like a tie, more than right? Then wait for your turn. Don't be impatient with the secretary of the boss who is going to interview you. You 10 times ask her, she convey 3 times, and every third time she is telling that this man is yelling at me. So be patient. Know what is that company's activity. If you know the company's activity, you can guess how you can be helpful to them. So you will go and speak regarding your answers should be in such a way that you are directing your questions. Where you finish your answer, you will get another question. So finish at a strong point so that the questions will be directed to another strong point of, in a strong area of your answer region. And finally, show the confidence that you will be a helpful asset to them, not a burden for your boss. Over to you.
It was a good lesson for us.
Take, yes, some more, I think there's a chance.
Your subject is, do you miss your childhood? Why?
Name please.
Aziz. Firstly, good evening.
Good evening.
Of course, the answer is yes. But what I miss very much. And childhood. In the childhood, there is too much things you can forget. So it means when we grow up, we are not developed. We are developed in one country, but we forget something. We get down, and for example, when you are children, you can do anything without think about the risk. But now, everything you calculate, oh, if I do that, I will get that. And so that's, what can I say? You are, okay, what can I say? Carefully, yes, it means that you do something without thinking too much, and don't care about the mistake, and everything will be okay. That's why I miss it. And excuse me for my actually, I learn English, but I not use it so much in my country. Because our second language is French, we use so much French. And then coming here just to remind, I think. So it means I start to practice English just to remind before. So thank you, and
It's a very good performance. Good, keep it up. Okay, thank you very much.
Well done, Toastmaster Mussafah. Our timer Toastmaster, please tell us the time taken by the participants in the favorite topic session.
Good evening once again.
Good evening.
Our detailed PO entity take 1 minute 56 seconds. Toastmasters John Thomas take 2 minutes 9 seconds. Toastmasters Vishnu take 47 seconds. Toastmasters Sobin take 1 minute 13 seconds. Toastmasters Krishna take 1 minute 29 seconds. Toastmasters Dinesh Kumar take 1 minute 42 seconds. Toastmasters Ashish take 1 minute 28 seconds. Only only Vishnu is not eligible for voting, other all eligible for voting.
Congratulations. Thank you, Toastmaster. So, okay. So please, this voting ballot is with all of you for the benefit of guests. For the voting, I think the speaker and evaluator we don't need to vote for because we have only one contestant. But for table topic, which is the first line, please vote for the best table topic speaker on the first line. Now, table topic evaluation role is taken by Toastmaster Vivek. I'm calling Toastmaster Vivek, please, for the table topic evaluation. Let's welcome.
Toastmaster of the Table Topic Master, respected President, fellow members and guests. Good evening once again.
Good evening.
Today is more stressful for me than Toastmaster PO because there are many evaluations I have to do within 30 seconds at least each. So first of all, let me go through Toastmaster PO Anthony. While evaluating, I look for the first praise and improve and again praise. This method I can use. So the first praise I can see the appearance of Toastmaster PO Anthony, the tone, and using appropriate words. However, the improve side, maybe improve with humor, some enthusiasm, and using the word of meaning. Thank you, Toastmaster PO. Let me go through the next contestant, Toastmaster John Thomas. In this paper called Toastmasters Journey. Well crafted the speech. It was included some humors I found. Timing was very correct. And appearance, tone, vitality, volume, we don't have to tell about Toastmaster John. But moreover, as a speech, I found it's a talk with the audience than a speech. That is what I feel. First of all, things are nice. Thank you, Toastmaster John Thomas. Contestant number 3, our guest Vishnu Narayan. If you get a magic wand, he's a new to Toastmasters, but I feel he's so much enthusiastic and presentable in the stage. He did not show any kind of nervousness. Being a first Toastmaster, attending first time in this venue, that is the plus point I can see. The improvements, little concentration in the timing. First of all, very nice, and wish you a good luck. Let me go through another evaluator. Another contestant. Toastmaster Sobin is also, I think, second time he is visiting or third time. Yeah. So the subject was what is the childhood things do you still enjoy? We talk about watching cartoons, and he also participating with his sons. So here he expressed the thought and his ideas, good appearance and good way. The thing is only to improve. After each sentences, you are looking to the downside, not audience. So always concentrate the audience. After you talk, and again look for downside. So change that, improve, and concentrate audience in different. So your eye contacts to improve. All the best. Very nice speech. Now come to Toastmaster or guest Krishna. Say something about your qualities. As a speaker, you have gone through good tone, the volume, and enthusiasm, all things you have shown in your small speech. Improvement is the gestures and eye contacts. You are also getting improvements. So, being a speaker, concentrate on the speakers, the audience who are in front of. First of all, things are good, and wish your best. Next speaker, in your next speech. And in front of me, Toastmaster Dinesh Kumar. How do you performance in interview? I think he well performed and he passed the interview. So here only the timing improvements. No, sorry, timing was correct. The price is use some humor and he adores the audience in this small time. So improvement side, I could not find anything because he was already passed with distinguished. So I don't want to anything suggestions of improvements. Now the last speaker in front of me is our guest and new Toastmasters assist. So childhood activities. There are a lot of things I can praise: his appearance, his smiley face, always use of gestures, eye contacts, facial expressions. So the improvement side, the vocal variety, because we are using a new Toastmaster and facing some of the improvement in language. So he's using, seeking for the words. Only that I could find. But even that, you can complete more than 1 minute. Within the time limit, you can complete the speech. You sustain and retain the stage till you complete the speech. So, very good, and best wishes for your next projects and next speech. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivek. That was a very detailed evaluation. Okay, since we are running out of time, we'll just, so voting is ongoing. Let's start with reporting. Okay, the first report will be by our Word Master, Toastmaster Pio Anthony. Could you please join me?
Thank you, Toastmaster Jamal. So what is the word today? Jesus. So by that, all of us has used this word twice. Exceptions are Toastmaster Vivek twice and Toastmaster Jamal once. I also failed to use that word. Sorry. Now, being a grammarian, first of all, let me make the apology because I am not an English speaker, native speaker. However, I'll just try to pick some of the usages that I felt, because even when I came to the stage, my colleague who is sitting next to me, Deepak took, he picked one of my usage, that was, I used he or her, but the best usage is he or she or his or her. So I also make mistakes very often. Now, one usage, I think the better usage is the parents of the students are, not the students is. I believe this is the best usage. The second one, I feel the better usage is every minute counts, not every minute is counted. Third one, the objectives of the speech, not is, I think it's are. You can correct me if I am wrong. Then, I think the better way of usage is to be there on time, not in time. Because when we talk about like interview, like, the usage is like on time, not in time. No, there is a grammatical difference there. Saying on time and in time. In time is used like
Finishing in time.
yeah, but meaning is correct, but grammatical usage is different. That's what I felt.
Coming on time.
Yeah.
In time is at exact moment. On time is close to that.
In time is always used. What I believe is like that's after the completion. But whereas before is on time. That's what I feel. Anyway, let's then another thing is when we describe the time taken, always try to use he took 2 minutes or 3 minutes instead of saying he take 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I feel that's the best way of. Then another one, don't have to talk about. That's the best way of using the English. But instead of saying don't have to tell about. I think the best usage is don't have to talk about. So these are the picks I have done. If I'm wrong, sorry. Sorry, our president also used one slip. I did not know this.
May I call our accountant, Toastmaster Shashi, please, to deliver his report?
Okay, please. All these speakers have used the word once. They are Toastmaster Pio to start with, Toastmaster Vivek Ayyappan, Toastmaster Jamal, Toastmaster John Thomas, Toastmaster Deepak Thomas, Toastmaster Rajesh Palakeri, all used once. The winner is Naufal, who did it twice. Herein, I have not counted the guests, otherwise Hafiz would have been the winner. So your punishment is, make sure you are here in the next meeting.
Thanks a lot. Our quiz master, Toastmaster Rajesh, let's see our listening skills for tonight.
Who are the engineers? Now answer the questions. Our guest Toastmaster Aziz is hailing from which country?
Morocco.
Okay. And our guest Toastmaster Aris is working for which company?
Who?
Again, our guest Toastmaster Vishnu is working for which company? Okay, fine. Okay. When we are planning for the work contest? Now our Toastmaster John has given a very good education session. As per Ralph Medley, what is the definition of leadership?
I don't think he is. Medley can say that.
Nobody can answer, John will answer.
Plan ahead, go ahead, move ahead, go forward.
Okay. Now in the competent leadership program, we have 10 projects here, as I already explained. Which is the project number 1?
Listen.
Project number 2? Project number 3?
Wait, let me open the book.
No.
Feedback.
Because you are not listening properly. Project number 4? Time management. 5,
Planning.
planning, yeah, planning. 6, organization. Not you. Asking whether they listen to your decision.
We want to see whether he remembers it.
Okay, 6, organizing and delegating. And 7, developing and facilitation. Yeah. 8,
Mentoring.
motivation. 9,
Mentoring.
10, team building. Okay. Our Toastmaster for the evening explained about VAT. How will be affected and all. What is the benefit of VAT?
Government makes money.
We can send our family to.
Because he has explained that. What is the benefit of VAT?
Government
Government will have more resources to spend on public utilities like park, hospitals, roads and all. So you'll have a better road, better hospital, better park. So pay your VAT.
Sadly, we are getting free traffic now.
Yeah.
There's no traffic.
So what was the first table topic? Not you.
Describe a stressful situation at work.
Okay, who's the winner? Nobody. Okay.
Okay, our guests, can we hear please about your impression in a brief, please? Could you come please? One by one, we need to hear from you. How was the meeting?
Yeah. So what's your decision?
Good evening once again, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
It was a nice get together and it was a nice project. Good to hear about bad things and overall it was very entertaining session. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
So you're going to join the club or not?
Yeah, yes, certainly.
Can
I have been there for.
It's good if you can announce the names when the guest comes in.
Yeah, that's better.
I have been another
Okay, Toastmaster Mufti. Please.
Good evening once again, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
I really enjoyed this evening with you all. It was a good session and we had an education series also. Many of the things I was not aware in that one, how the competent leader that has to be attained. It was very useful, that session was. Thanks for that. And really enjoyed this session, looking forward to the next meeting.
Thank you. Welcome aboard.
What is your plan to? You're becoming part of it?
Yeah.
Toastmaster Aziz Zamour, please read your opinion.
Good morning.
Good night. Okay, come on.
So, he's wishing us for Moroccan time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's 9. Actually, good organization, and I can say the result about all the people. So, because before I afraid, but now I have a courage because I know I can't one day. I can't be like all the people. And thank you for motivation. And I really like. I am not regret because I can. But next time and this time I will hear. I promise you. Thank you.
Toastmaster Vishnu Narayana.
It was a good experience. What I found interesting was that it was a mix of like interesting things plus learning, and it was pretty much organized. Since I think a lot of senior people are there, that's why there is a pattern which is followed, and also the talks and the timings makes it a bit competitive as well as interesting. It was good.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Vishnu.
So would you like to be a part of this? You want to join? Okay, you can come and you can visit one more, right?
Toastmaster Muhammad Ali.
Good evening.
was nice. All the session was good, but I couldn't come up with a table topic. Going forward, inshallah, I will try to come up with 10% on table.
So would you like to join the club and continue the journey?
Thank you very much. You have added a good value to our meeting today. Toastmasters Shashi are not a guest, so we will not be part of this impression. Okay, now we are presenting the awards. Okay.
No general election? Where's the winners?
Winners list. Winners list.
But we are waiting for celebration. Yeah.
Take off. Yeah. Okay. So, can I call President? What is Okay, so our winners for tonight. Okay, so we are going only for the best
table topic, apparently.
Table topic.
Jointly won by two.
Okay, so we have two winners for tonight under table topic session. Let's welcome the first winner, Toastmaster John Thomas. And our second winner is Toastmaster Aziz. Thank you very much.
One more. With the banner. Don't hide the banner.
No, let me put my thumb.
Oh, that's why you want to do one more, yeah?
Okay. Earlier one, you delete it.
All right. Delete it.
Like this you can start reading.
We have Photoshop.
Okay, now is the time for our general evaluator. Let's welcome Toastmaster Kuranai.
Toastmaster evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I think does not reflect well on our time management because I think we're running short of time, so my general evaluation will be very short. I have to catch something after this.
Oh, so we are not running short of time.
My wife's waiting. She's already calling. Okay, I generally try to evaluate my time, the time I spend outside, and see whether it's worth it or not. I think the time today I spent here was worth it. So I think it was a good evening. First of all, the meeting started at 8:05, and I think the effort made by the team members, Toastmaster Deepak, Toastmaster Arun, and Toastmaster Zaman, Toastmaster of the evening, they were here very early so that they could make it possible for the meeting to start on time. But somewhere in between, I think we slipped. I think we went behind 8 to 10 minutes. So we need to be careful about the timing. Today's meeting started with a special announcement by a president about earning the 5 DCB points, and I think he has to get a cake for us to celebrate with. So I think this deserves another round of applause.
And all the credit goes to all the people.
First lady. Is it the first lady?
Yes, for sure.
Rajesh?
It's baked by first lady.
Yeah.
Okay. And normally to make the meeting interesting, normally we look forward to a lot of speakers, but unfortunately today we are